Good evening. Hello. Welcome to the first of hopefully many open mics from my bedroom. I am your host, Sam. It's an open mic, and you guys have got the look of poets about you, so I'm not going to spend too long on this. I just kind of want to run through the rules quickly. It's one poem per poet. Any poem you do must be absolutely 100% free of racism, transphobia, homophobia, or ableism. We don't accept it here. We don't want it here. I don't think there is a poetry night in the UK that does. Secondly, is a more Bristol specific poetry rule. We must enforce it, I'm afraid. No nude poetry. Save that for your OnlyFans account and paying adult subscribers. But we're just going to get straight into it. So I'm going to welcome up the first poet. Not someone I'm familiar with. If you could all give a warm round of applause to our first act. It's Mr. Sam J. Grudgings. Hey. Can you hear me, all right? Are you all right if I do it off mic? Is that bad? Yeah. You know what? All right, cool. Let's just get on with it, I guess. This is a poem. It goes like this. What if you and the saviour of mankind one day just decide to see other people? You want different things, and eking this out further, it's just a clever way of pretending that neither of you are fit for purpose. What if you decide to give up on God, quit God, cold turkey and absent God, God of one remove, and it's not you, it's me, God. But then he turns up at your door on the first day that you do with a bottle full of hymns and a crazy idea that sounds like he stole it verbatim from that heist movie that he put on that time when he came over for Netflix and chill, and there was no chill. What if you sleep with God cradled in your chest one last time because intimacy is the only time that you ever felt holy, but then in the morning you wake up and tell him that this must never happen again? The cleanliness must be as far away from godliness as can be. What if, moments after these words leave your mouth, a prayer-inducing tragedy occurs and he leaves you and you never see him again? What if, years later, after heart reacts to big life moments, missed birthday calls 2 days after the fact, avoiding miracles occurring opposite you, pretending you had elsewhere to be, as awkward as it is? What if his holy brother calls you and says, I'm sorry this took me so long. And I know you used to be close, but God passed away in their sleep on Tuesday. The funeral is next week and they would have wanted you to be there, so be there. What if the shock is more surprising than the grief? It is at this point I should point out that I don't know if this poem is about God, my friend who passed away, or my love of alcohol, but the addiction and faith and grieving can look similar a lot of the time. What if you get to the funeral, forget the words to the eulogy, and have to sit down and the only thing you can think of doing is making small talk and noting how empty the place is? You expected this place of worship to be more full, and that there are empty spaces between the few mourners on the pews, and that the few things that you recognise are single footsteps on a beach and parted seas towards the exit. What if after this service you find yourself sat on the stoop of a church, sitting, thinking, drinking your cup full of seawater because you don't drink no more, and a prophet approaches, coming through the reveling throng of fresh atheists who have now decided to just altogether deny gravity instead and are floating amicably. The prophet looks at you and says, here. He would have wanted you to have this and hands you a crown, a throne, a scepter, 3 verdigris coins, a bloodline, a lamb, or whatever metaphor you think best symbol for faith and power there is, and leaves you before you can deny this gift. What if you get all this, What if you realise that absence is no different from a presence if there is never any answer? What if the only God you ever had and needed was your name? What is the first miracle that you are going to perform? Thanks. Wow. Sam, that was fantastic. You do this... Sorry. You do this a lot, huh? Yeah? Oh, okay, cool. No, thank you for coming on. Like, I think it's really nice when, new starters get up and do it. It's really brave. And so, yeah, thanks for that. Obviously run this night for a while. And you see a lot of faces come back to you and go through highs and lows. More often lows, am I right? Anyway, this next performer is obviously come with us a lot. We've seen a lot of his stuff, and yeah, it gives me absolute great pleasure to welcome to the stage Mr. Sam J. Grudgings. Give it up, everybody. Sam J. Grudgings, here he comes. Thanks, Sam. Your hosting ability, always just what we want. Yeah, but no, as Sam says, I've been coming here a lot, and so nice of all of me to be here today. It's a poem I normally do with a different song, but what with us all being kept indoors and not being able to work to afford any litigious fees that may come forward from any conglomerates or large businesses, I've decided to simply search royalty-free cinematic music on YouTube and use whatever the fuck came up first, so we'll give this a go. I present to you cinematic music, no copyright, by the French Orchestra. Great. It's a poem called Sequel. It goes like this. I am building homes on the shorelines in hourglasses, hoping that this time it will last. It's been over 18 months. It has been nearly 4 years. But I'm not convinced that it will last. I will relapse eventually, spectacularly and pitifully, because 1 year not drinking is like 7 to an alcoholic, and I am aging in the years of the dog that bit me and will never let me go. But if you want to talk about magic tricks, I can tell you that it was only sober that I saw how much I was disappearing drinking. So I'll try and turn this bullet catch into a bullet dodge. This spell will cast me in a bad light that I cannot get my shadow out of. You know, my friends will call me Houdini. That boy always looking for escapes, but you will notice that there is nothing up my sleeves but attempts, so don't tempt me. Because I haven't been sleeping too good. And I ain't awake any better. And for all this freedom, sometimes I want to take the lockpicks that I keep behind my teeth and close shut the world back up over my head again. Spend a spell or two inside these prisons I built myself again. Forgo my sunrise habits again. Knowing that I don't want to watch the sunrise clear-headed, knowing that this is as good as I am ever going to feel. I am sick of being cured. And this is no antidote. No one is afraid of the dark when the lights are on. There is a morning chorus that still sings the burden of nausea, but dropped by the graceless hands of fate, another day breaks. For all that I am picking up the pieces to build myself homes, to stay safe, and I have no time for wars right now. I know that alcohol and I built ourselves a life together, but we strayed together for all the wrong reasons, and hedonism is not a coping mechanism. I will always remember the way that this works. In names that escape me and excuses that made me for nights like these where I am relapse ready. And on days like today when my resolve is whiskey dick soft like a thrift store sweater, I tell myself that tomorrow is just one more day to get to the end of. And addiction is any port in the storm. And though I'm weighed down by the seas, I swallow to keep me steady. I won't let you call me three sheets to the wind anymore, because I'm tying hope onto these glass-kept ships that I used to sink myself in, and there are no answers in a bottle, no matter how often you ask it, and I will keep asking, so hold me. Hold me like a funeral, because I am not strong. Hold me like your breath, because there is a lifetime supply of it, no matter how deep you go. I am 100 years of hurricanes. I have fought off avalanches and won. I am a monument to disasters that never happened. So go ahead, ask how I survived this. I will respond, how the fuck do you think I did? I still don't know if I'm a symptom of this world or if I am sick of it. And I never figured out the trick behind this. I never knew what proof I had of this, just knew that one way or another, this would be the death of me. So I'll be your ruby red shoes if you can find me a tornado to be 12 stepping in. It's close to a failure, I stride in 7 league boots, and I know the exact route, just a few moments longer. I let the seasons decide this one. Let them change me like I didn't. Keep whiskey and knives away from me. I got this Achilles throat from trying to swallow the sticks, and I'm not scared of mortality's uncertainty anymore.
Writing's not that easy, but Grammarly can help.
You bastard.
This sentence is grammatically correct.
I'm not scared of mortality's uncertainty anymore. My harrow's hand is sure, though I don't remember ever having any doubts drunk. I was never Sam when I wasn't sober. Thanks. Oh, alright Sam, another breakup. No, I'm kidding. That was great. Thanks so much for sharing. You can follow Sam on Insta. What is it?
At Sam J Grudgings.
Yeah. So at Sam J Grudgings on Instagram, and Storygiver Poet on Twitter. Moving on. Hope you guys are all comfortable. Next on the list, a new name. Someone haven't heard before. Give them a warm welcome, make them feel safe. Please give it up for Sam J. Grudgings. Woo-hoo! You don't suck! Hey, how you all doing? You well? Yeah, me neither. This is a poem. It goes like this. If you know the words, then you're a better poet than I am. It goes like this. A hush where there was a person becomes an echo, becomes an enjambment. In the between of prophecies live people who should be. Possibility nexuses, nothing specific predicted about them, just that they will. So, stage blades can still do damage, and the monologue that autumn deserves is delivered best by breathing underwater. A drowned dirge to wet winters. Rise, 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 hail the saint of knives. Their first gospel read simply. Terms of endearment can be shibboleths, held in the mouth of those who want to not love, a mouth, a throat, a thinly veiled swallow that has sought to regurgitate holiness, a tongue as an absence in another's mouth, a tongue in someone else's mouth as a replacement for something prophetic. As it is written, so it isn't. As it is written, why shouldn't it be denied? Some lies work best on paper, but then open secrets are cursed secrets. The smartest trick ever pulled was convincing us that we didn't exist. All hail the Saint of Knives, protesting the disarmament of dissenting voices, folding petitions from the dead to prevent overcrowding. Injuries can be horizons. Battlefields can be corporate logos. People don't just become statistics, we make them. And yet the violins inherit the system, dismantle it and play a tune to packed out dance floors that let us forget ourselves. In forgetting ourselves, we are reminded of the first book of the Saint of Knives. Every dance move is explicit, every tender touch or erstwhile love a prayer in some way, so fuck me like you don't mean it. Because when we kiss, all we are saying is, I am just an analogy for you. Outside of safety, outside here, wholly alone and still searching, teach me we're worth it like a tongue toothing the wound where a bite used to be. This isn't supposed to be inspiring. Medical texts seldom are. So why should the vagaries of lust, written in the shorthand of someone who may or may not have ever existed, encourage us to do anything other than observe that to interact is human and necessary? Love can be a protest often, but sometimes living is a marginalization is sufficient. The second book of the Saint of Knives never said anything. It is a blank page. There, in my own crabbed hand, I write, who needs to call a rose by any other name when I have a thorn in my side like you? This is as good a call in arms as any. Deny, retract, cross out and repeat. Deny, retract, cross out and repeat, and say I never had you, never had the comfort of you, never ever was you. Which would similarly be an appropriate second verse. We can sing this as loud as our bodies allow, but why allow such beauty to be placed in a function when the form of knowing is so arbitrary? I predict that we will forget and be glad of it. I predict that when this is translated years from now, they will say that this was what was said, not what might have been. If the message is lost because someone misconstrues its intention, it doesn't have to be. Say you meant it all along. Say this is what you intended. Hail the Saint of Knives. I predict he will be, and that is enough. But this is all second-hand knowledge. I've never even seen a crow. Thank you. Sam J. Grudgings there. Talk about his new EP, Sad Laureate. You watch a lot of American slam, a lot of button poetry. Yeah, it shows. And that brings us to our last act for the night. So one last time, remember to tip your waitresses, tip your bar staff, look out for people. But give a massive warm welcome to our final headliner, the wonderful, the well-established and definitely not still emerging poet, the fantabulous, the erotic, the amusing, the clever, the not balding in the slightest, Sam J. Grudgings! Thanks, Sam. Great introduction. Yeah, I'm Sam. I'm a poet because therapy is expensive. I admit freely that I am a place we both used to be. There are small towns that live and die inside of us that I believe will serve as compromises to our history here in the ruins that October built. We are two homes to have escaped from, haunted by accents we can't shift to remind us that permanence is for others even if we can't help but empathise. I don't speak for myself when I say that growing up in failure's uniforms makes being found a change. Is it any surprise our language sounds like missing when all we knew was lost? Is it any surprise that we speak comfortable silences better than we explain ourselves? When it got to that part in our friendship where we had to introduce each other to our former selves, I didn't have it in me to admit that I knew you did not like any of who I was, but that you stuck with me regardless, and I never got to thank you for that. Even if we never talk again, our epitaph will read, "Two gluttons for exit survived by distance," and what a legacy that is to leave behind. A perpetual longing, even if it is only a longing for quiet. And sure, we could disinherit the wind together, take our bodies full of everyone that we used to be and make believe like we want no part of the sky and its plan for us, but I don't think we should say fuck it so ineloquently when we have spent so long protesting how to be so politely in the first place. Maybe we're not questions. It could be that we're gods, ones that neither of us happen to have much faith in, but when I start thinking at these speeds, I want to write a letter to everyone I ever knew, starting, "Dear whoever, you approved right again. I care more about the had than the having, if only because the past tense is so easy to write in. Perhaps a god without followers is just a friend left behind." I'm in the autumn of my second chances. I think forgiveness gets taken for granted and redemption has a very finite limit. But then I think I started with nothing and I still have all of it. Maybe this doesn't adequately explain anything. And maybe this will spare your mouth the ignominy of saying my name, even in passing. Maybe this proves that even horizons are compromised by endings. Maybe this doesn't prove anything. Even if it doesn't, I would like to take this opportunity to apologise that I have more experience in being left and in leaving than you. And to sincerely thank you for making this as difficult as it needed to be. What? Wow, thanks for that. Truly some really inspired stuff there, really beautiful. Yeah, thanks for that, Sam. Obviously I'd like to say thanks to our venue and the staff that work here, Sam's bedroom and any of Sam's housemates who may have to put up with this. Potentially Sam's neighbours, depending on how thin the walls are. I'd like to say thank you to Respire for letting us use that track. And finally, just go through a list the open micers. If we could just say warm thank you to Sam J. Grudgings. If you could say thank you to Sam J. Grudgings, and of course, last but not least, Sam J. Grudgings. Give yourselves all a warm round of applause. You've been wonderful. I've been your host, Sam J. Grudgings. And we'll see you next time. Take care now. Goodbye.